Hi everyone, I'm Ula Burgieł and this video is about interior design sketching techniques. If you're interested, keep watching this video. I'm Ula Burgieł and I'm a London-based interior designer working on projects worldwide. Coming from a small town in Poland, I lectured at the University of Art and managed to get jobs in the top London interior design companies, eventually creating my own business. Remember to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button to get notified about future videos like this. There are several techniques of interior design sketching depending on the means used and also on the accuracy of the drawing.
So let's start with the first interior design sketching technique.
Quick drafts on the go. These quick sketches can be very useful with capturing the first idea that comes to mind. They're very important because these ideas tend to disappear very quickly. They can be done with anything you've got to hand, a pen, a pencil, a little notebook or a newspaper. I use it a lot when talking to clients on site or to a contractor on site to explain a quick idea that I have in my head. They also show your creativity and your ability to design. When client sees you sketching something up very quickly, they're usually very impressed. So this is how I start capturing the first ideas, the first interior design ideas. So I sketch different quick options that don't take me more than 10 minutes. And as you can see, the more I sketch, the more relaxed my hand is. So for example, in this second sketch, the lines are much more relaxed, are kind of more confident, which also makes it look much nicer as well. So let's sketch one more option. These first sketches allow you to choose your option without spending too much time on drawing it. And the point is not to stop sketching even though some of the options might not seem successful straight away. So these first sketches are just for you to see which option is the best. These sketches are not usually shown to the client later on, but it depends. If they're really good, you can include them in the presentation, which actually shows your interior design process and makes the presentation more interesting, more arty. High quality presentation drawings. These are the sketches that usually go into a client presentation. They are more refined, with more details and some added color. The level of precision can still differ a little bit. I like to leave the freehand lines to make it look more artistic. Although I have done a lot of very precise drawings using a ruler, it just depends on the client and the type of presentation you're doing. The next technique of interior design sketching is pencil drawings on regular paper. I do the majority of my sketches on regular paper with a pencil. I always start with a very thin 0.5mm HB pencil. It can be an automatic one, it can be a normal pencil like this. It's up to you. To start a drawing with very fine lines, because later on you're adding a lot of layers on top of it and you can't start with thick lines because the drawing will just look quite messy. This is where I start drawing my drawing to scale, and I'm actually using a scale ruler to get the proper dimensions of my space. And now if you want to find out how to draw the entire drawing to scale very easily, so transform a 2D elevation into a 3D beautiful sketch to scale, if you're interested, sign up to my interior design sketching masterclass. So here I'll just draw the room with very thin lines. And if I would now make the outline of the sofa very strong, and I would want to put a coffee table in front. The lines behind would be very, very strong and visible, so I would need to use an eraser and erase everything, but the easiest way is actually to keep sketching with very thin lines, almost barely visible. And I do it all freehand because I have quite a lot of experience. All these rules, so for example, the exact sizes of the furniture, so how deep is the sofa, how deep to draw it. All this is included in my interior design sketching masterclass, so make sure to check that out. When you're starting out, that's why I've designed this program for beginners. So this is the first stage of this interior design sketching technique. Then, when I have the whole drawing done, I enhance the most important edges with a thicker pencil. Then the sofa can also be stronger, the edge of the sofa. Not as strong as the side tables, because the side tables are closer to us. This is how you accentuate the perspective. So all the elements closest to you should be the strongest. Sometimes the 2B pencil is kind of my cherry on top pencil when I just enhance certain edges. Pen drawings on tracing paper. One of the more interesting interior design sketching techniques is pen on tracing paper. To add a bit of drama to a pencil sketch, I add a layer of tracing paper on top. Below I have my regular pencil sketch, but I put a tracing paper on top. And when you actually see the shapes already, you can be a bit braver and more dynamic. Now I just need to tape it to the table. So for thinner lines, I use 0.5 or 0.4 pen. Just make sure it's kind of like a graphic pen, but it doesn't matter really which brand it is. And then for thicker lines, I always use a thicker pen, and this sign pen is really good. So I'll link all the pencils and pens for you in the description. So let's start with a thinner pen, and I go over all the lines in the drawing, but now I try to make it really dynamic. Don't be afraid of making longer lines that cross. You don't have to worry about the construction of the drawing, you just worry about making it look nice. And after this I use a thick pen to finish off the drawing with thicker edges. These pen sketches tend to look much more dramatic and arty. They're very good when you're working for a big interior design company and you're working on a concept design. These look very conceptual. You can add some details to it as well, like marble pattern to these side tables. So if you want to learn how to sketch like this, construct drawing to scale, do everything properly, check out my interior design classes. So it's almost like tracing over your existing drawing, but now your lines are more dynamic, more artistic, and just the whole drawing looks just more professional. There is a slight chance of running into a problem with coloring because color markers, they can smudge the pen lines. So to do it properly and not to smudge the lines is to turn over the drawing and color on the other side of the tracing paper. It's the trick I learned from the architects. So again, don't color on this side. We are going to turn it over and color on the other side. drawing with some color on top. But as you can see, none of the lines are smudged. Coloring and shading with markers or watercolors. Some sketches look much better when you add some color to it. You can then resolve the interior design scheme better and see which materials should go where, which colors work best. It helps with testing if the balance between light and dark colors in the room is correct. I use markers or watercolors. Markers are a bit easier to use and are not so messy, so I just tend to use them more. If you want the colors to pop up a bit more, it's better to use markers on paper, and you can actually grade them a bit more as well. So if you use the same marker, but make a lot more layers in one place, it will appear darker. You can't really achieve that on the tracing paper. Sometimes it's good to test some markers on the little piece of paper first, if you can't exactly decide which one to go for. At the end, you can use a pencil one more time and accentuate the edges one more time. Or I color the entire drawing in Photoshop. Photoshop has a lot of nice brushes now, and painting something in Photoshop looks very convincing. So it's a very good option because you have a lot of control over the colors. It's so useful in real interior design work. So if you want to win better jobs, better projects, be able to charge more than your competitors, you have to learn interior design sketching. If you want to learn in the most efficient way from someone who has actually done it, check out my interior design sketching masterclass and other professional courses. I'll show you how to learn sketching fast and in the correct way. No guesswork, easy to follow, step-by-step online instructions on your schedule. But don't take my word for it, just look at the reviews. Remember to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button for more videos like this. And remember to check out all my courses. See you next time.